Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I hope your day and your week are going very well so far. We've got a new day, which of course means a new NBA player prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. With a new day comes some new opportunities to go ahead and make some money. I have 4 NBA player props to go ahead and share with you guys in tonight's NBA slate. But first, before we dive into today's video, guys, we do have to do a quick little recap of how we did last night. And overall, guys, it wasn't a good day, but it also wasn't a bad day. We went 2-2 yesterday. We did have a slight loss in units. We lost like 0.19 units yesterday. Our record now is 126 and 107 overall on the year in our single bet category. We did end up cashing on the Malik Monk prop as well as the Devin Booker prop. The SGA prop was such a nut punch. We had him over 40.5 points plus assists. He finished with exactly 40, so we did lose on the hook there. I did see some people in the comments saying after the video dropped yesterday, the line dropped to 39.5. So if you did take it at 39.5, congratulations. Tough beat there. It's crazy that he did that in 22 minutes. He played 22 minutes and had 34 points and 6 assists. He went crazy against the Bucks yesterday, but unfortunately, as you could be predicted, with Lillard out, with Giannis out, with Middleton out, it was a blowout, so SGA did not play his full normal amount of minutes. But you can't be too mad about that because we did get lucky with the Malik Monk prop. I don't know if you guys watched that game. It took free throws in the final 17 seconds of the game to go ahead and cash that over. So that was a narrow cash. We're not going to be greedy. 2-2. I think we can definitely do better today, but overall, wasn't a bad day. Like I said, guys, I think we could do much better in today's slate, so let's go ahead and show you guys what we got going in today's NBA slate. 4 player props coming your way right now. All right, guys, jumping over to the outlier screen, our first pick in today's NBA slate comes from the Celtics-Cavs game, 7:30 p.m. tip-off. We're going Evan Mobley of the Cleveland Cavaliers over 27.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. This prop is available on multiple sportsbooks for varying odds. We're getting it on DraftKings for -120 odds. As always, guys, make sure to shop around for the best sportsbook odds available. Overall, guys, the data is solid in this player prop. Evan Mobley has cashed the over in 8 of his last 10 games. That's an 80% hit rate, averaging 29.9 points plus rebounds plus assists per game over his last 10 games. If you want to go ahead and stretch the data out for the entire season, it's still really solid. A 65% hit rate. He's cashed the over in 28 out of 43 games this year for Cleveland, averaging 30.26 points plus rebounds plus assists per game overall this season. So we've got good recent hit rates on this prop. We've got good overall hit rates on this prop. We also have pretty solid head-to-head data as well. You see 5 of his last 8 meetings with the Boston Celtics, he's cashed the over. That's a 63% hit rate, averaging 30.75 points plus rebounds plus assists per game across his previous 8 meetings with the Boston Celtics. Now, Boston and Cleveland has played 2 times so far this year, back on November 19th and then again on December 1st. He got a 50% hit rate this year versus the Celtics. Their first meeting back on November 19th, he did cash the over with 22 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. A really solid performance from him despite the loss from Cleveland. The next time they played, not as good, 9 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. He had a little bit of a rough shooting performance in their most recent matchup. He shot 4 for 13 from the floor. But the encouraging thing here, obviously, is the fact that the volume is there. 13 shot attempts. You see he had 19 rebound chances. He had 3 potential assists, not a ton of assists. But in general, he's got plenty of opportunities to go ahead and cash the over here. It's a pretty good defensive matchup. Look at the right side of the screen here. The Celtics overall this year versus power forwards, 24th in points allowed, 29th in rebounds allowed, and 22nd in assists allowed. Good recent data, good overall data, solid matchup. Everything looks good in this player prop, guys, from -120 odds to pretty solid value. All right, guys, our second player prop in today's NBA slate comes from the Rockets-Nets game, 7:30 p.m. tip-off. I'm going Jalen Green of the Houston Rockets over 29.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. Now, this player prop is very juiced, but that wasn't the case literally an hour ago when I picked it out. When I was doing my research about an hour ago, this player prop at 29.5 point rebound assist line, the value, it was like -130. It's now jumped. The normal line now is 31.5. So the fact that it jumped 2 points tells me the sportsbooks are trying to correct the market here. We've got a pretty good player prop in our hands. Now, it's very juiced now, -155 over on DraftKings. I'm going to stick with this line. I know it's juiced at -155. My rule typically, especially for single bets, is I try not to go over -150 because there's really no value in a player prop on a single bet standpoint when you go over minus 150. If you're throwing it in a parlay, no problem. But from a single bet perspective, anything over minus 150, it's just not worth the value. Minus 155, I know it does fall in that range of not being worth it, but I do think at this line, it's got a really, really great shot of hitting. You're going to have to put a little bit more down from a unit standpoint in order to make this worth it, but I think it's a pretty good player prop. The fact that the market's correcting, that they've added 2 points to this line since I've started recording over the last hour or so, or since I did my research, I should say. The fact that since I've done my research, it's gone up 2 points, that means we got a pretty good player prop on our hands. So we're going to stick with the line, minus 155. Again, I know it's a little juice, but trust me, it's worth it. The data is really solid. Jalen Green has cashed this over in 7 of his last 10 games. That is a 70% hit rate, averaging 30 points plus rebounds plus assists per game over his last 10 games. Overall this season, a 55% hit rate on the over for Jalen Green. 27 out of 49 games, he's cashed this over, averaging 28.67 points plus rebounds plus assists per game. But you do see here, looking at the overall data, the last 15 or 20 games for Jalen Green, a lot more green for Jalen Green. It goes together pretty well. Look at the last 20 games, 70% hit rate. 14 of his last 20 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 32.05 points plus rebounds plus assists per game over his last 20 games. We also have the insights provided by Outlier. Jalen Green has exceeded 31.5 points plus rebounds plus assists in 9 of his last 11 games on the road, averaging 33.4 points plus rebounds plus assists per game average over his last 11 road games. But again, we are taking this at 29.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. So this line actually is 10 of his last 11 road games. He's cashed that over at the 29.5 point line. So like I said, the sportsbooks juiced this player prop for a reason. It's got a really good data, a really good player prop. The head-to-head data also very solid. You see each of his last 2 meetings with the Brooklyn Nets, he has cashed the over. They played very recently on February 1st, just 3 days ago. He cashed the over with 29 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists, and actually what was a 12-point loss for the Houston Rockets. And the interesting thing about that matchup is Jalen Green could have done even more. I know he already cashed the over, but he could have had an even bigger game. You see the shot attempts. He took 24 shots in that game. He shot 11 for 24. Not a terrible shooting performance, but not a good one either. But 24 shot attempts is a lot, so the volume is certainly there. The rebound chances, he only had 6 rebound opportunities. That's not normally how it goes for Jalen Green. And he also had 9 potential assists in that game. So there were opportunities for him to go ahead and do a lot more. Again, he already cashed the line by a good amount of points, so he could have done even more. That encourages me that he's going to have another big game here. And they lost that game. This time, they should go ahead and beat Brooklyn. So I like the spot here for Jalen Green on his over. I know minus 155, it is a little bit juiced or a lot of bit juiced. But I do believe that this is a player prop that you can go ahead and put a couple extra, maybe an extra half a unit on this or an extra unit, and it's going to be worth your while. Again, totally up to you guys. If you want this player prop, maybe you put in a parlay. Maybe you do bet it straight up as a single bet. Obviously, that's 100% up to you guys what you do with the information that I give. This is the part where I start losing my voice, so let's go ahead and comment hate down below. I just can't get rid of this damn cough, man. I feel fine now, but just this damn cough. Can't get rid of it, but losing my voice here. Guys, we just hit the 8-minute mark in today's video, so comment 8 down below if you are still watching at this point. We appreciate you guys who do stick around and watch all the way through each and every video. I do apologize if at times in this video I've been speaking faster than normal. Again, I know I'm going to lose my voice, so I'm trying to get through the data and get through the picks before I lose my voice. So I do apologize if at any point in the video you think I've been speaking a little too fast. I'm naturally a bit of a fast talker, but especially when I'm trying to get things done here and trying to get the picks up before I lose my voice, going a little faster than normal. So I do apologize for that. Here we go, guys. 2 picks left in today's video. Now, this one's going to take some convincing. The data is not great, but the matchup is too juicy to go ahead and ignore. Our third player prop in today's slate is coming from the Miami Heat Chicago Bulls game, 8 p.m. tip-off. We're going Kelly Oubre of the Miami Heat over 23.5 points plus rebounds. Pretty good value, too. We're getting it for minus 102 over on FanDuel, so almost even odds on this player prop. And it's understandable why we're getting almost even odds. The data is, like I said, it's not very good. The recent data, the last 10 game data, is okay. 5 of his last 10 games, Ware has cashed the over, a 50% hit rate. He is averaging 23.6 points plus rebounds per game over his last 10 games. Ware has been on a pretty good run of late with some massive performances versus teams like San Antonio, Portland, and Milwaukee. So some pretty good matchups there and some pretty good performances. This Orlando one in particular was very impressive. Orlando obviously a really solid defensive team, and he had 19 points and 10 rebounds in that game. This is just, I guess, the Heat culture they talk about and they put in those horrible jerseys, the Heat culture they talk about. They just find guys, all the Jimmy Butler drama going on, and then in the midst of all this, they get another solid rookie prospect who just comes out of nowhere and has this incredible stretch of games and looks like a really solid player for them. But yeah, Ware has been incredible. His minutes have increased. He's been playing very well. Again, the overall data on the year is not great. Just say 19% hit rate, 6 out of 32 games. He's cashed the over, averaging 13.41 points plus rebounds per game this year. Now, again, the line's elevated because he's playing more minutes. His role has changed. Just the way he's performing lately. This line would not be this high normally. The matchup also kind of comes into play here. You see the line open at 21.5. It's increased 2 points since then now to 23.5. That all happened overnight, so you can tell, again, the sports books are trying to correct the market on this play because people are betting it. Rightfully so. 21.5 is actually would have been a much better line. But I mean, just look at the increase in the usage data. His rebound chances, he's averaging 10.8 rebound chances per game in general this year. But look at the last 10 games or so for Kel'el Ware. His last time out versus San Antonio, 20 rebound chances, 21, 20, 22. His rebound opportunities have gone up. His shot attempts have gone up. Now, the last couple games they've gone back down a little bit. But look at 19 shots versus San Antonio, 17 shots versus Portland. 15 shots versus Milwaukee. So you see the volume, the minutes played. I mean, 30, 38, 35, 42.5, 29.3. His last game out versus San Antonio, 34.1. Everything, his shot attempts, his rebound chances, his minutes, everything is increased in our favor for Ware in this prop. Like I said, the overall data is not great, but the way he's been playing lately, I like the spot. And the defensive matchup, again, is just too juicy to go ahead and ignore. Chicago overall this year, 29th in points allowed, 29th in rebounds allowed, one of the worst defensive teams, maybe even the worst defensive team in the NBA. I know the Washington Wizards have staked their claim, obviously, but Chicago is truly putrid on defense, and versus centers in particular, it's really bad. 28th in points, 19th in rebounds overall this season. As great as Nikola Vucevic is defensively, he is as great as he is offensively, he's certainly not great defensively. As great as Vucevic is offensively, he is as horrible defensively. There we go. Got it right on the second attempt. He's basically a revolving door. Like, you can just go right through him. It's awful. It's not good. And a player like Kel'el Ware, who the way he's been playing lately, could have a really big performance. Again, not a ton of data to back this up. I'm really going off of the matchup and the increase in usage for him and hoping we got a pretty good game for almost even odds. It's worth taking a chance. I'm not saying put your life on it. Don't put your house on this prop. But you could throw a unit, 3/4 of a unit. Honestly, I think it's worth the risk here because the way he's been playing over the last 10 games with the matchup at hand, I think Kel'el Ware could be in for a very, very, very big game. And our fourth and final player prop in today's slate, guys, comes from the Pacers-Blazers game, 10 p.m. tip-off. We're going Shaedon Sharpe of the Portland Trail Blazers over 20.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. We're getting this one from -115 odds over on BetMGM. It is, of course, available on multiple sports books for varying odds. And unlike the last player prop, guys, the data on this one is much better. You see, over the last 10 games, a 60% hit rate for Shaedon Sharpe. 6 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 19.9 points plus rebounds plus assists per game over his last 10 games. The further you go ahead and stretch the data out on this prop, the better it looks. Look at the last 20 games for Shaedon Sharpe. 70% hit rate. 14 of his last 20 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 23.05 points plus rebounds plus assists per game. Go ahead and stretch the data out to the entire season view. A 67% hit rate on the season for Shaedon Sharpe. 28 out of 42 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 23.5 points plus rebounds plus assists per game overall this season. So across the board, the data looks pretty good. We also have the head-to-head data. Each of his previous 2 meetings with the Indiana Pacers, he's cashed the over, 100% hit rate, averaging 22.5 points plus rebounds plus assists per game across their previous 2 meetings. They have played once this year already. Back on November 27th, he had 17 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists in that performance against the Pacers. We also have the insights provided by Outlier. Shout out to Outlier for all the great data they provide in each and every one of the video. They are the sponsor of today's video and all of our player prop videos here on the channel. In the pinned comment where we have all the final plays, you'll find a special link for a 7-day free trial to check Outlier out for yourself. All the information, all the data, all the insight that you see in each and every one of these player prop videos, you can have it right at your fingertips, and you can try it all for free for 7 days. So go ahead and check that out. The link will be down below in that pinned comment. But we have the insights provided by Outlier. Shaedon Sharpe has exceeded 20.5 points plus rebounds plus assists in 8 of his last 9 games versus bottom 10 defenses for points allowed. He's averaging a whopping 27.6 points plus rebounds plus assists per game across those previous 9 matchups against bottom 10 defenses in scoring. Overall this year, the Pacers 21st in the NBA in points allowed in general versus shooting guards, which is where Shaedon Sharpe primarily plays. They actually rank pretty decently. If we go over the dashboard over on GuyBostonSports.com, though, you do see the numbers are not as impressive. Indiana 15th in points, 14th in assists, 8th in rebounds in terms of points, rebounds, assists allowed to the shooting guard position. And I know Shaedon Sharpe, he obviously comes off the bench a lot of the times, but he still plays an average of 27 minutes per game over his last 10 games. The Blazers are on the second night of a back-to-back. He only played 19.2 minutes yesterday in that overtime win against the Phoenix Suns. So I do think he's up for some more minutes in this game. And if we go ahead and put the filter here to show the data on back-to-backs for Shaedon Sharpe, the data is pretty solid. You see 8 of his last 10 games playing on the second night of a back-to-back, he's cashed the over. He's cashed in 5 straight games this season playing on the second night of a back-to-back, and you see his numbers are actually pretty impressive. When he plays on the second night of a back-to-back, he kind of goes off, averaging 27.17 points per game, points, rebounds, assists per game, this season when playing on the second night of a back-to-back. So really good numbers across the board, even from a head-to-head perspective. The last time he played Indiana on a second night of a back-to-back, you go back to November 27th of last year, he did cash the over. So across the board, really good data, and you're getting from minus 115 odds. You really can't beat that, guys. All right, everybody, those are all 4 picks in today's NBA slate. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. I'll be back tomorrow with another NBA player prop video, and hopefully by tomorrow, I won't be consistently losing my voice doing the videos. It's so frustrating when you literally can't talk. Hopefully tomorrow that finally goes away. We'll see. But regardless, we'll obviously be back with another NBA player prop video. Until then, hope you're all winners. Enjoy your Tuesday. Let's go ahead and make some money.